welcome to Poland Daily Travel. We're in the studio because the weather has been vile, and it's January. And although we tried to go out and film outdoors, we were not able to do it because the weather has been, as I say, vile. But today, as we come to the studio, of course, the weather is beautiful. And that's the way it goes when you travel. Everybody knows that. I have with me in the studio a man who's known for his wit, his charm, his haircut with never nary a hair out of place, and his beautiful ensemble Savile Row dressing, not window dressing, but actual dressing. Nicholas Richardson.
No relation.
No relation, but we're still looking. We're still looking. We've been looking for 4 years.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit like travel.
Yeah, a lot of travel to get there. We were talking off camera about a subject about where we'd like to go if we wanted to go to a cool place in Europe. I said, first of all, I picture us on bad days like these cold, dark winter days, dark and stormy nights, as the man said once. It's a very popular phrase, begin a story. I said, I pictured us with Mai Tais in Tahiti.
Yes.
And you said? I
really would prefer somewhere in Europe.
You don't like grass skirts is also what
you said.
Well,
this is all very...
You don't have to wear one.
I'm not going to wear one, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I suppose it'd be all right for a while, but you might get bored. I think this is a problem.
This guy is no Tony Curtis, I'll tell you that.
No, I'm no Tony Curtis. I think you would need, or I would need at least, if I be somewhere, ultimately, I mean, I would go anywhere on holiday to visit. But I think if you're talking about sort of doing something for the rest of your days, then I think I would prefer to remain in Europe, because I think I would miss, and I think most Europeans would miss, the civilization which you get in Europe, which you don't get in many other places. I know they have their own civilization, but we're Europeans. And I think, for example, this is a mistake a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to retire to the sun in Spain. And they go and they buy their apartment, or they buy their little villa in Spain, and they have a little swimming pool, and the weather's good. But they have nothing to do. If they don't learn the Spanish and they don't sort of get involved in local life, they sort of drink themselves into oblivion, which is really not quite the way I would want to go. And I think that's part of the problem. You've got to have something to do, even if you want to do nothing, if that makes sense.
No, I completely agree. You've got to, I mean, that's why you and I are lucky. We have things to do. I mean, I can always work on a next book.
Well, exactly.
And do research, go write articles. Do YouTube. There's a lot of things.
I mean, I don't envisage ever retiring in the formal sense.
I would never stop.
No, there's always stuff to do. What it would be nice to do is hopefully that if all goes well on a number of fronts, then you'll be able to choose, or I'll be able to choose from where I do it.
That's the thing.
And that's what we say. Yeah, you would live in place X and then maybe have to commute once or twice a month to your main source of income. And that would be fine. That would be very agreeable.
Yeah, that'd be great. And you get a little air miles.
Well, exactly. Although air travel itself is becoming more and more tedious.
Yes.
Not tedious. I think the word I look for is tiresome.
Disgusting.
Difficult.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of things that are disgusting. In the next program, we're not going to do it now, but in the next program, we're going to talk about 11 things you need to remember. It might be 10. It could be 9.5. I'm not sure. I didn't count them that carefully. But that you need to remember when you're flying. And they're very important.
They are.
But we're not going to talk about it right now, because I want to pursue this subject which you've raised, which is where would be your ideal place? You know, Malaga has been in Spain, has been a very popular place, and particularly for searches for 2023. I saw that on Airbnb, Malaga was their top search place. Why? Have you been there?
I've only been to the airport there, when visiting that part of Spain. But yes, the weather there is very nice. I mean, it's probably a bit too hot in the current climate emergency if that's what we're facing. But that part of Spain, that southern coast, say from Malaga to Gibraltar, is very, 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 very dry, very warm, very, very popular. Has been popular for a long time, particularly with people going to retire. Brexit has rather changed that for the United Kingdom citizen to a certain extent. But yeah, I think people want to go for there is something, you do feel better when you wake up in the morning and the sun is shining.
There's no doubt about it.
And the people are smiling.
There's no doubt about it.
And the wine is cheap and reasonable, and the food is interesting. So I can see why you would do it. I mean, I would want to get away from Malaga as such, which is a fairly built-up area, and get away from Marbella and those sort of places and be in somewhere a bit quieter. Like a chum of mine who lives down in Soto Grande, which is quite nice. Although Soto Grande is one of these artificial constructs in the 1960s, which is good for golf and polo and that sort of thing, but it's not sort of a real place. I'd want to be in a little town somewhere with a bit of history, where you could get up in the morning and go for your cup of coffee in a little cafe and watch the world go by in a nice little town square, something like that.
Yeah, a friend of mine wants to go to the, you know him too, but I won't say his name since I haven't asked his permission. It's Vitek, and that's not it. I mean, that's not his real name. Let's call him Vitek.
All right.
Yeah, because I don't have permission to mention him on camera. But he was talking about the south of France, which is something you've mentioned before. Yeah. And I say southwest.
Yes.
Would be better than the Côte d'Azur. It's too overcrowded.
D'Artagnan country.
Yeah, D'Artagnan country. Oh, yeah, I love it over there.
Exactly. No, there are lots of nice places.
That's a wine capital for you there, as you were mentioning before, and food. And the Dordogne Valley is known as the food kingdom.
The food in France is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think France as a country, they do, and I think the French would say this, and they see it as part of their role, to maintain European civilization. And however cynically or you want to pull France's leg or the French leg, once you get outside Paris, and to be fair, even in Paris I'd never had a problem, once you get outside Paris, French people are generally very helpful, very polite.
I found them very nice.
And they do, I think, take national pride in being polite.
Yeah, I don't understand why people say the French are not nice.
Because they go to Paris and they go to some cheap tourist place, and they, where the waiter is fed up because all he sees all day are cheap tourists who don't know anything, and that's why.
Treat people with respect. Don't treat them like you're at home.
Or you get the waiter who says, "I'm not really a waiter. I'm an actor resting," and you have to go through all this drama. But anywhere
else,
LA. Yeah, well, it's also in Paris. Anything else is anywhere else. Sorry, it's just very nice. And the little market towns you get in France, the shops are lovely. Generally speaking, the people are civilized. The food is fantastic. The wine is good.
Most beautiful country in Europe?
I think it has everything.
I think it is.
Beautiful seaside, beautiful mountains, fantastic countryside.
Yeah.
As Les Dawson, the English comedian, said, the only trouble with France is it's wasted on the French.
It's wasted on the French, because we should be there. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching the program. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a fantastic evening, and think about France. Read about France. Read about Poland, too. Polish and the French, they like each other, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, they have a long, going from the Napoleon times and before. Yeah. Okay, see you.